So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dapper Reacts number, I don't know, what is this, 130? Gee, is it really 130? My goodness. That is a big number.
That's like 2 years worth.
Yeah.
Of Dapper Reacts in a bit. Wow.
Really?
Although
Wow.
I think there have been some weeks where we got more than one in. Because I know there were a few times when my normal Tuesday stream couldn't happen, and so I just plugged in an extra Dapper Reacts on a Tuesday instead of on a Saturday. So,
Wow.
But yeah, it's a lot. So I am here, no Vishanti today, but we do have Maya Atkinson.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Why? Why would you be sorry?
Don't be
great.
Well, I know I would suspect that they're probably used to Vish and expecting her.
I mean, sure, but like they're adaptable. The audience, they can have new experiences, and it can be okay.
No, your audience is amazing. Most of them are following me now, at least the live chat. I recognize more than most of them. Also, I've been a mod here forever, so you know, no love lost to those of you who don't find me to be your cup of tea. I still love you anyway, and look forward to seeing you.
I am a mod.
Week.
Yeah. Okay. Generally, if I bring someone on as a guest, they're going to be a mod.
Oh, is that so? Wow,
yeah.
that's the privileges of guesthood.
I am a mod because I was one of the first Patreons.
Yep, you are probably about as the earliest mod that I could find, except maybe Bent.
Yeah.
Yep. Demon Trigger 14K for $5 says AIG is a bag of increasingly deranged YouTube shorts. They sure are. I'll take a drink to that. You know what I'm getting really sick of? Is short content that is AI-generated animals fighting.
What?
I
did not
don't
know that was a thing.
So here's the thing, right? If I'm watching shorts, I have two types of shorts that I bother to watch. One is like how to cook interesting thing that maybe I want to cook someday, right? Okay, I'll watch that. And then the other one is like cute animals because, you know, like I like watching cats do things like fail to make a jump or not realize that the lily pads on top of a pond are not really a solid surface they can stand on, so then they just kind of fall in. But what that means is the algorithm is like animals. This is tagged with animals, and what it is like a Nile monitor fighting with like a jaguar or something, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
That's weird because like I watch almost all the shorts I watch are almost exclusively just Belgian Malinois videos.
Okay.
Right? And I don't get those.
I mean,
so I just
maybe I watch a wider
Maybe
range of animals than you. Maybe that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch a lot of political shows, and TikTok actually ran me off with the right-wing content creators who are using Black AI to perpetuate their bigoted tropes.
Oh, yeah, you gotta love promoting white supremacy with digital blackface. That's always fun.
Yes, yeah, digital blackface. That's exactly what it is, and it's kind of annoying. So, yeah.
And unlike traditional blackface, it's a little bit harder to spot because it actually generally looks like a real person and not like a horrible cartoon caricature.
Right.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if cartoon or Candace Owens.
Jeez. Candace Owens. I still can't believe that she sent a producer down to like the final experiment and she's still like, shape of the earth, I don't know. Who knows? Could be anything. Come on.
Not ready to get off this grift yet. Way too lucrative.
Yeah. And as far as I know, she's still on the dinosaurs are probably not real train, which is
Wait, are dinosaurs gay? Is she
they're both fake and gay, yes. I'm not sure what it means for a dinosaur to be gay if it's also fake, because I feel
I'm here for the gay dinos.
Like, I mean, sure.
Why can't those show up in my feed? God.
What would it look like for a gay dinosaur to show up in your feed?
Well, you're a PG-13 channel. So
Well, I'm just gonna say there have been a lot of gay dinosaurs at various zoos and parks and whatnot. So
fair.
that's
Fair.
and sometimes they've even
Wow.
been given surrogate eggs to brood because they have trouble producing their own eggs.
Wow,
So, yeah.
cool.
Yep, there have been a lot of
That's wild.
gay penguins, gay swans, lots of. It generally
Those shorts never make my feed, and I would welcome them.
Well, you just got to start looking for more gay animal content. That's what it is.
You know that.
I guess you could just punch that into the search function.
Yeah, just
You
literally
probably
type
could
in
do
gay animal, and it'll probably show up.
Yeah, but then I might get furry corn, and I don't know.
You might. Probably not on YouTube though.
It is so hard to satisfy both the algorithm and yourself.
I'm just gonna let that hang there.
Yeah,
the screen geek 8915 for €5 says super chatting to show Maya a lot of love with a heart emoji to help free Dr. Kill from his chains, also Maya's chains, and to remind you dorks to not get Bilbo'd again. Godzilla, we'll take a drink for that. Godzilla, thank you very much. I'm drinking a rum and cola, by the way. Specifically, this is a Coke this time.
Chardonnay.
Nice.
We need to black coffee. So, yeah.
Did you even put any whiskey in it?
No, should I? I could.
You absolutely should.
Yeah, let's do that.
Metageeky 2526 for $2 says, admittedly, we're still not sure how T-Rex did it. So that's true. Although I think the bigger mystery is Stegosaurus. Like, how did Stegosaurus do it? That's a lot trickier. Because a T-Rex is like, okay, you're big and heavy, but that just means you need a lot of strength and in your legs. But T-Rex already probably had really strong legs. And specifically, you need a lot of strength if you're the female T-Rex. And we think that female T-Rex were more robust than males anyway. So, like, probably not that hard. Stegosaurs, though. And my solution is very, very long and possibly prehensile intermittent organs. That's my guess. And I base this on the fact that it would work, and that there's no evidence against it. So that's all I got.
Well, you're often right, so I'm just going to hitch my train to that wagon.
There you go. Hey, I was right about what is it? Oculodentavis, when they were like, it's the smallest dinosaur ever discovered. And I was like, guys, I think that's a lizard. And then, like, 6 months later, they retract that original paper, and they're like, so we think this might be a lizard, actually. Like, oh, no, you don't say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, gotta admit.
Yeah, it's the one time that I will hold up and I was like,
impressive.
you know what? I disagreed with a peer-reviewed paper, and gosh darn it, I was right. The scientists were wrong. Take that. Dutch Tunicate Official for $2 says, gay penguins adopt orphan penguin chicks. That's true. That is a thing they will do. Yep. All right, so I think we are caught up on the super chats. So what we are here for is some Billy Carson. So for those of you who might be new to the show, what we do here is we basically look at pseudoscience nonsense. Billy Carson is probably closer to pseudo-archaeology than he is pseudoscience, but you know what? All those pseudo fill-in-the-blank academic thing, it's all the same thing to me. It's absolute nonsense that is dragging academia through the mud, and I'm not okay with it. So we're taking a look at Billy Carson. Maya has seen way more of him than either I or Kip have. Whereas Kip is also much more familiar with the text that Billy Carson is drawing from than either of us are. I'm basically
Which
just
doesn't
here.
take much.
Well,
It
that's
doesn't.
true. Yeah. I'm basically just here to like keep track of the drink counter and keep us reasonably on topic sometimes.
Sure.
So yeah, but where we left off, Billy Carson was first of all not understanding the difference between a scroll and a cylinder seal. Here's a pro tip: if you're working in ancient Sumeria, they just don't have scrolls. If you're ever talking about an ancient Sumerian scroll, you should stop, because you're just wrong. Because Sumerians wrote on clay that they then fired if they needed that record to be permanent, right? So, like, if you're in scribal school, you get some clay, and when you're done, you just erase whatever you wrote on it for your next exercise. But if you're actually making a record that needs to stick around, you take that clay and you fire it, and it basically becomes pottery with writing on it, is essentially what's happening right there.
See, the Egyptians had scrolls
They did.
pretty early.
Yep.
But that's because they were making them out of papyrus.
which was not readily available in Mesopotamia.
Not widely available. No, not available in Mesopotamia, as far as I know.
I mean,
all.
they probably could have
And not
traded for it if they
widely
wanted it.
Probably.
Because there was trade between those.
They were happy with their wedges.
Yeah.
And their clay tablets.
I'll say this: clay is more annoying to store in terms of like clay tablets, but it's way more durable.
That's why we have so many.
Yeah, there's a reason that we have so many of them.
I almost said it. Sorry. We have we have a lot of clay tablets.
Yes, a boatload perhaps.
Very, very far fewer scrolls.
Yeah.
Than clay tablets.
So what Billy's actually describing is a cylinder seal, which is you have a cylindrical object on which is carved a negative version of what you would like to impress on whatever the clay tablet is. And then you roll it across the clay, and it leaves the impression that you want as it rolls across. And so you can also make it like a continuous thing. That's what a cylinder seal is. Billy is mixing these things up because he knows as little as it is basically possible to know about the subject of like Sumerian text and archaeology, other than that such things exist. Like, he's aware that Sumer is a thing and that they have an archaeological record. And other than that, that seems to be the only thing he actually knows about it. Joshua Geese with numbers for $5 says, according to J.M. Hirsch, Diet Coke, Prosecco, and some Aperol will be his new summer drink. I don't know who that is. And also, Diet Coke, Prosecco, and Aperol. That sounds like a weird combo. I'm going to stick with rum in my cola. For me?
I don't even know what Prosecco is. What is that?
I don't know why you would mix it with Diet Coke, but I mean, to each his own.
Well, for me, actually, this is one of the first times I'm drinking cola that isn't caffeine free on this show, because guess who got less than 2 hours of sleep last night?
How much do dinosaurs usually sleep?
More than 2 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Generally speaking.
I don't know why YouTube hates your live chat. I thought we had done away with the @.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So it wasn't happening on Top Hats Off, which is my other channel that I streamed to last night. I know that it had been happening to Craig from FTFE the other day, but then his most recent stream it wasn't happening. So I have no idea. I looked around to see if there was some kind of like setting that I need to change, and I can't find anything. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it changes because I really like everybody's screen names, but like now they're just set to their official channel names, which kind of sucks, but hey, it'll be fine. All right, so there's one last thing I want to talk about before we get into the thing, which is to say, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who's helping me render frames. So I'm working on another video right now, and I have over 77,000 frames to render. I want to give you an example as to why it is I can't do this on my own, right? So I've had the render farm open, rendering nothing but my own frames for almost 37 hours. And remember, I have 77,000 frames to do. I have rendered just over 5,000 of my own frames. So I want you to think about how long it would take for me to render all those frames on my own if you guys weren't helping and if the render farm weren't helping. So I want to say thank you very much. If you are inclined to help me with that, and you're currently not helping, there are instructions in the description for this video. You just go to the website, you download the client, use the username and render key that are provided in my description, and I would suggest setting it to GPU if you can, but then it will start rendering, and even if you're not getting my frames, you will still add to how the priority that my frames get in the future. And Josh Beats for $5 says, Prosecco is a sparkling Italian wine. Oh yeah, we did kind of skip over the question.
Oh yeah, skip over that part. Yeah, which is why I was like, why would you mix that with? Okay, no, yeah. If you're happy, I'm happy.
All right, so let's get into some.
He was mixing Diet Coke with Prosecco and
sparkling wine. Yeah.
Yeah, and Aperol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. I can't imagine why you would do that, but hey, you know what? No. If that's what you like. Look,
if you're happy, I'm happy.
It's reasonably safe, and as long as everyone's consenting, have fun. That's my general standard for letting people enjoy themselves. Is like, are you being safe? Is there anyone who is objecting? And if yes and no, okay.
That's most things are fine, but God damn it, don't mix up your spaghetti and your lasagna, as we discovered last night.
Okay, I don't think that's ever been
yeah.
a problem for me, but thank you for
That's
warning
good.
me.
But apparently, Paulogia is like some kind of pasta modalist. I don't even know.
Oh.
It's weird.
That sounds like a heresy right there.
Yeah.
Do we need do we need to have some kind of like ecumenical council of the like skeptical YouTube to discuss this?
I would recommend it, and I'm happy to lead the way on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you like the emperor of the Roman Empire that you can convene one of these?
Look, if you guys, I'm just saying,
All right.
I'm not opposed to it.
All right,
so.
That's fair. All right, here we go. Here's some Billy.
And she gave birth out of her own womb.
By the way, he's talking about Isis, who is not a Sumerian deity, and he's talking about the first human, who was genetically engineered, according to him, by grounding some guy into paste, and then apparently mixing him with clay that apparently is also code word for pre-Homo sapien hominin. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but, you know, that's Billy for you.
He's like mixing a couple of different mythologies there.
Yep.
Just a few,
yeah. And Roshina for 199 says lasagna is spaghetti cake.
No, it is not.
Spaghetti cake.
Rosanna, it is not.
Are you sure?
Just not. I'm sure.
You know,
Positive.
A friend of mine asked me I think a couple weeks ago, like, so wait, what's your favorite pie? And I said cheesecake, and she was like, I hate that I have no response to that. I was like, yep. And she's like, it is a pie, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, it is. It's got a filling and a crust, and you bake it. It's a pie.
It's a pie.
Yeah. And she was like, I hate this. I was like, well, you asked.
It's
Didn't
weird
have to ask.
But there is cheese pie too.
Yes, but it's usually not made with
Cheese
like
pies,
sweetened cream
that's
cheese.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Also, in most languages that aren't English, the food that English calls a cheesecake is in fact called a cheese pie.
Yes.
That's
cool.
And it took 10 months gestation period, according to their the tablets. 10 months, not 9. And she gave birth to...
I just want to point out that various cultures just delineate pregnancy slightly differently, and because the number of days that are average for a pregnancy isn't like a whole like this many months every time, and also, you know, pregnancies
Also,
don't all
calendars,
last. Yeah,
right?
Calendars change. Also,
Yeah.
the duration of pregnancy isn't the same from not just from person to person, but from pregnancy to pregnancy for one person who's pregnant multiple times. So Billy is like, oh, see, that this is a weird 10-month pregnancy. No, that's...
I mean, because obviously they were using the Gregorian calendar, you know, 5,000 years ago. So.
Exactly.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pope Gregory went back in time to hand his calendar to the Sumerians. He was like, you guys are going to need this. Just wait till I invent it.
I expect that Billy is quite fond of this picture because probably because he doesn't have to actually read anything.
Yeah, it's no words.
Well, you know, it's worth 1,000 words.
It can be just whatever he wants it to be.
They say that?
Yeah.
But is it really?
No. Well, so I usually when I hear that picture is worth 1,000 words, I interpret that as like a photograph of an actual event is worth 1,000 words.
Even.
Well, this is clearly Mother Isis bouncing the first human on her lap.
Despite being
Baby
Sumerian
Adam.
and Isis not being a part of the Sumerian religious establishment at all. And also that goddess not being dressed or in any way depicted like Isis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Literally the only thing that connects this to Isis is that it's a divine figure, it's feminine, and also, as we can see on screen, Billy wants to have his own etymology for the word Genesis.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, did you cover that last week?
Well, we're going to get to it. It's coming up.
to be Adamu, which means first man. And so, as you can see, Adam is here being born, but prior to him, for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, people had already been on the planet through the cloning process. So there were already people here, bilateral, bipedal hominids that look like humans, and we look like them, except that
I mean, I guess for Billy, a picture is worth 1,000 words, because like that's a lot of words.
Well, to be fair, he is
you're
basing
not
this
actually
on the earlier passages that we went over last week from the Epic of Atrahasis.
I
But
mean,
those words also weren't in there.
kinda.
Nothing about that was in there. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
So he's basing this on just making stuff up about the Epic of Atrahasis and then connecting it to this cylinder seal, which he calls a cylinder scroll, because again, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And also, he's bringing in Isis from nowhere. Nothing about the cylinder seal or the Epic of Atrahasis mentions Isis.
No, yeah, that's standard Billy.
Yeah. But personally, I think part of it might be that, so, you know, he leans into some certain of the pseudo-history version of Afrocentrism, right? Because there's, on the one hand, Afrocentrism can be a reaction to Eurocentrism and saying, hey, we shouldn't ignore the important aspects of African history on both the world stage and internally, which is
100%.
very fair, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Africa throughout history that is important both on the continent as well as making waves around the world. And a lot of that has been largely ignored, in part because of Eurocentrism, also in part because if you want to become a historian who specializes in that, it's not easy to do, right? Like, I got a history degree. It was not easy to find classes in anything going on in Africa. Wow. In part because, and I had a lot of professors who worked on things like that. Like, I had professors who offered classes in African history, in Native American history, as well as archaeology in both cases, but there weren't that many because even for them, they hadn't studied that when they were getting their PhDs. It just wasn't very available. So they were trying to push that, but like, you have this, even when people are trying to change it, there is this, this inertia in history where like, this is the things people have studied. And so it's hard to break out into a new thing. But anyway, so there's that part of Afrocentrism, which is like, yes, we need to pay attention to what's happening in Africa because it is important. But then there's also the other version of Afrocentrism, which is like, Socrates actually studied in the Library of Alexandria that wouldn't be built until hundreds of years after his death because all knowledge comes from Africa. It's like, no.
Wow.
No. That's not how that works either. It's like, it turns out people all over the world can develop their own cultures and ideas, including Africa and China and North and South America, but also Europe. Europeans have developed ideas and cultures. Africans have developed ideas and cultures. Asians have done the same thing. North and South Americans have done the same thing. Australians have done the same thing. It turns out people are smart everywhere, and they can develop their own cultures and ideas everywhere. And so there is that pseudo-history version of Afrocentrism, which is like all of the great things that have ever happened anywhere are actually stolen from Africa.
Yeah.
Which it's not true.
Is that kind of a variation of the magical black man trope?
I don't know, because it's that version of Afrocentrism is usually pushed by both Africans and African Americans in the United States, whereas the magical, sometimes nowadays we like to call it the magical black man trope, although originally it was called the magical Negro. That is something that usually comes out of American white storytellers who need an outsider figure to deliver wisdom or mystical powers, and African Americans, especially those who were part of like Afro-Caribbean religious traditions, were an easy source of exotic character that could reasonably be found in the places where the stories were being told. And so they just kind of got roped into that. So I think the source of those two is very different. Oh, sorry, Maya.
No, you're fine. I was talking over you, but and I think it's important to bring it up though too, because when we're talking about Billy Carson and his genre, if you will, it has a hodgepodge of beliefs where there's been a lot of times when I've covered him, and then there's this other, he's considers himself a Moorish American. His name is Bedell.
Wait, does he really?
Not him, but there's another
okay.
black guy that we cover a lot.
Okay.
His name is Bedell.
Bedell's a lot.
He's a lot.
Okay.
And they both do a lot of the same thing where they're pulling from a bunch of different like tropes, mythologies, and they're taking it as fact, but they're conflating as well. So it is nuts how much you have to know to be able to break down what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there is history, but then there's the pseudo history, and then there's just the lies.
Yeah,
You know,
and I think part of the problem is that because African history is understudied in places like, North America, it becomes a little bit easier for the pseudo-history version of Afrocentrism to gain hold, because there aren't that many people who would know enough to push back effectively against it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I often don't. The only areas where I can definitively say, okay, here is exactly why this is wrong, are areas where it intercepts things that I do happen to know about. Like, hey, if you're currently the descendant of enslaved people in North America, chances are you're not descended from Ethiopian royalty, no matter how cool that would be. Chances are your ancestry is primarily sub-Saharan West Africa, not Ethiopia. There might be exceptions, but chances
I don't know
are...
why they would think that.
I know why, because it would be really cool to think of yourself as as genealogically connected to the one uncolonized African nation that stood strong against the empires of the world, which it would be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah.
It
Also,
unarguably
King
would be
Solomon and Queen of Sheba, right?
I mean, yeah, if you listen to the mytho-history of Ethiopia that the Ethiopians tell about themselves, they're also connected, to biblical genealogies via King Solomon. So, like, I get the appeal.
But I'm just thinking, like, we do get taught about slavery, and like, those weren't kings and queens that were coming over. I'm just
generally no. Yeah, it was primarily villagers from various places in West Africa that were raided primarily by the urban dwellers of West African cities, and then shipped off. Because we got to remember, the reason that it became so easy to create a transatlantic slave trade is because the inter-African slave trade was already well established on the West African coast.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, hey, a new market just opened up. Europeans. Cool.
Yeah.
So, like, history is a dark, dark time. The past was the worst, to quote Simon Whistler.
Yeah, often, usually.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
He had some more genetic differences in order to become what they consider to be the perfect man, where we had the ability to...
Okay, I'm just going to say, if you're ever talking about genetics, and then you lead into the perfect man, stop. You're currently doing a Nazi thing. You should stop that.
You should.
In fact, I'm going to take a drink, because anytime someone's like, this person had the perfect genetics, I'm like, oh my god, please don't do that.
Well, that's an Ancient Aliens trope, though, too, right? I mean, not taking anything away from Nazis, but the Ancient Alien crew, where like the aliens came down, saw a bunch of apes, and then started doing the genetic, like splicing genes, and to get to modern man. Yeah, and so
but they always somehow meet each other in the middle, don't they?
Yeah,
the Nazis and the ancient alien.
Well, the reason for that
They're
is
not
because
divorced from one another.
a lot of ancient alien narratives come out of pseudo-archaeological narratives about things like Atlantis and lost civilizations that were originally proposed by Nazis to explain their own mytho-history that they had invented for themselves of a superior Aryan race that used to rule the world, of which they were the remnant. And so the ancient alien people kind of took that up, and they were like, okay, but what if it was aliens that actually influenced this society that we're probably not going to keep calling Aryan because it looks bad, but they still keep most of the nonsense that the Nazis just invented out of whole cloth, specifically
we'll call them aliens or reptilians, wink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although as a reptile myself, I have to say the reptilians are real.
No, and that's what I mean when I say they're not divorced from one another.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just like, same cereal, different box.
Which also, Billy, maybe stop talking about Nazi talking points as a guy that the Nazis would have certainly tossed in a camp. Just gonna put that out there. It's not a good look when someone who the Nazis would have absolutely tossed in a camp starts mirroring their talking points. And I'm not saying that Billy's a white supremacist. In fact, I think he's too much of a pseudoscientific Afrocentrist to be accused of that. But like my guy, a lot of the talking points that you have are just slight modifications of like Nazi pseudo-archaeology nonsense, which
But
was
this
in
is-
part
this is-
based on fantasy novels, by the way.
Yeah.
Fantasy
Yeah.
novels.
Seriously.
This is where people get messed up, and it's very frustrating as someone who is not a professional historian, but certainly, you know, works with historical methods and ideas and stuff, right? Like in the scholarship, people fail to recognize that there were ideologies that governed or at least strongly influenced historiography all across
yeah.
continental Europe through the 19th century, which were blatantly white supremacist and racist. And that's, you know, a big part of why I mean, the big part of why we don't do that anymore is because it's bullshit. But the other big part of why we don't do that anymore is because I almost said it again. It's racist.
Yeah.
And white supremacist.
Yep.
So just stop, guys.
Yeah, it actually
Stop
did
it.
a show. I think I called it Two Guys, One Vril.
Oh,
But
no.
it was about the Vril and the Thule Society, and I don't know, I didn't get the views I would have liked, but it went kind of into the esoteric nature of like Nazi propaganda and how they got from, you know, becoming a nation that needed to get a what do you call it, like an ideology together that was based on novels, to the Third Reich, like how you get from A to B, and it was, I think people a lot of times don't think I'm being serious because we are so sarcastic and jokey, but like, I don't know, it's one of my personal favorite shows because like, despite the laughing and joking, everything I said in there was like accurate.
Oh yeah. So real quick, Metageeky Platypus Librarian just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships, so I want to say thank you. I'll take 5 drinks for that in just a second, because also I want to read out a super chat that says, from Cognitive Trifurcation, who says, this is kind of a rehash of how white supremacists and black supremacists found common cause during the civil rights movement. Yeah, they were both like, we want an ethno-state. And then we want an ethno-state that's not the one that you're living in. We want 2 separate ethno-states. And like, yeah, I guess that's common ground. It's really weird and uncomfortable common ground, but okay. And then I guess, I don't know, maybe if you're a black supremacist and you want an ethno-state, maybe that's what Liberia was for.
There's a lot of finding on, I didn't know like they were a real thing until I downloaded the Twitter app.
Big mistake.
But yeah, black supremacist, and
it's real.
It is like black white supremacy where they're just like, no, we want our own area, and I'm like, here, like, and it's almost like they don't. I'm assuming, I can only assume that they don't understand our past, and like all the cities that have been burned and submerged underwater, and you know, Central Park, you know, used to be a black area of New York, and I could just go on. And I'm like, you know, when we try to do things for ourselves, it doesn't work well. And I'm not talking about like, you know, just being like white assimilation, but like diversity works so much better. Like when we just embrace one another's like differences, and you know, that works so much better on every metric. Diversity is better than like trying to carve out, you know, and be niche, and you know,
Plus, look at all of the increasing purity spirals that fascist groups tend to go through, where like, oh, you thought you were okay, but actually it turns out that like your great grandfather was Jewish, so at best now you're a second class citizen. If you don't think that will also happen if you try to establish a black ethno state, you'll start off with like, okay, all the black people can come in and be like, you're a little fair-skinned, your hair is a little straight, you don't make the cut, sorry. And then it'll just keep spiraling out, and you're like, Oh man!
Yeah,
Turns out your great grandfather was Irish. Not okay. Get out.
As a Nazi said just a couple of weeks ago, "Oh, they're not coming after my family."
Yeah, not yet. It's always anytime anyone ever says, "Well, they're not coming after some group I'm in," the next word needs to be "yet," because eventually they will, if they're allowed to run out of other people to use as targets.
And we actually saw this recently on Twitter, because when all the liberals ran off to Blue Sky, the Nazis started eating each other. Like, and I want to say immediately because it took like a week.
Yeah, it wasn't long. Because the thing about racial supremacy and ethno-nationalism and whatnot is that they are defined as oppositional to some scary other. And if you get rid of that other, you need to find a new one. Otherwise, there's no purpose for your ideology.
Right.
All right, we're going to hit play because technically Billy is, as far as I know, not advocating for a nation state, or sorry, an ethno state. So like, I don't want people to think that I'm accusing Billy of that, because as far as I know, he's not doing that. He's just, repeating talking points from people who are doing that.
We just live in the United States and we're faced with this daily. Don't mind us.
Well, except for Kill. Dr. Kill up there is safe for now.
For now.
Yeah. until the king tries to annex your territory.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the 51st state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have your health care?
A better question was, will they be able to keep their health care if the United States tries that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, probably not.
Likely not, right? I mean, that's the
So maybe Massachusetts has a system that is similar to what the original version of Obama's healthcare plan was, and they were allowed to keep that even under pretty stringently anti-Obamacare Republican governments. So it's possible that if the United States did that, they would just be like, just leave their healthcare system intact as like for people who are in that new quote-unquote state. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's at least not impossible.
I mean, there's another way this could go. As the largest, most populous, wealthiest new state of the United States, maybe we would just overwhelm everyone with good ideas.
Well, the problem is you'd also only get 2 senators.
But probably not.
Right.
Right, yeah. Fuck that.
You get a whole bunch of representatives in the House, but in the upper chamber of the legislature, you only get 2. For all Canadians, 2. Although what would actually be more...
They'd both be from Ontario.
Probably. And what would be even more likely is that if Trump were to try this, he would try to make Canada more like Puerto Rico, where it's like a territory of the United States, but they don't get any federal representation at all. But they do get U.S. passports.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Follow the orders. They ensure the worship gene and all that kind of stuff. And they, they found that we can reproduce on our own, so they don't have to keep using the cloning techniques, which made it a lot.
Why did they?
So that's maybe the weirdest thing to me.
Why even bother with cloning? If you have a whole population of hominins who in fact can reproduce the old-fashioned way, why don't you just splice new genes into them and then let them continue on reproducing?
Yeah.
Like, why do you need this whole superfluous cloning step? And the answer, of course, is because you need some way to work in that clay and god blood story that makes no sense in terms of genetic engineering. But he needs to be able to work it into here, so that way he can say that this is based on the Epic of Afrocentrism. That he's just reading the text, guys. So it actually reminds me, heard a tradcath geocentrist say that Genesis 1 and 2 don't actually contradict, because what God was actually creating in Genesis 1 wasn't the actual plants and animals and whatnot. He was creating like the platonic forms of the plants and animals.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then in Genesis 2, that was him actually bringing those forms into concrete existence in the physical world instead of just in the realm of ideals. And I was like, well, that would be cool. If Genesis 1 had any hint of that whatsoever.
But can I give him some credit for creativity?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very creative, but also not anywhere in the text. So if you say you're just taking the Bible seriously, no, you're not. You're making stuff up. Same thing with Billy. He's not taking the Epic of Afrocentrism seriously. He doesn't care. It's an excuse for him to get his conspiracies through.
A lot easier on them, a lot less work for them, and we can reproduce 10 times faster. So
I would just say that was a figure of speech, because I don't know how he's possibly getting to humans can reproduce 10 times faster than they can be cloned. That was never established. Like, how fast is the cloning process? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Are we like Mattel toys, like where we're just like going, or like? But he's saying reproduce.
Well, I'll give it this: if you
does
let a
that mean-
population reproduce naturally, they can achieve like an exponential growth up to the carrying capacity. Whereas if you have a cloning facility, unless you're expanding it, you can only increase the population linearly. And at a certain point, you're going to get an equilibrium where the maximum output of your cloning facility is going to be equal to the death rate, and then you can't grow the population. So maybe what he means is it's easier to grow a population that naturally reproduces than if you're relying on like a set number of like clones that you can produce per unit time.
Or maybe he thinks the cloning process takes 100 months.
Yep, maybe he does that. Yeah, as Annoying Newsletter says, 100-month pregnancies? That's,
Right.
I mean, even for an elephant, that would be a long pregnancy. Elephant pregnancy is usually closer to 24 months.
Oh
Which-
my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they have to grow a whole baby elephant in there from one cell.
I mean, I guess they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Elephant
That
babies
makes
come
sense.
out about the
And they
size
come
of
out
like,
pretty. Yeah, they're pretty self-sufficient as soon as they come out. So
yeah, they can
I mean,
walk and yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be
Do a lot
basically
of
like
this-
a human giving birth to like a 4-year-old.
Yeah. Which I've been pregnant twice. It took everything in me just to get to the 9th month. I can't imagine
Yeah.
24.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a nightmare, especially since that would mean that the baby would be 2 years old when you gave birth.
Right.
Like, oof,
Right. Yeah.
it would be a full-size 2-year-old. Like, that'd be fatal. That would be fatal.
Yeah. Because they actually won't let you give. Right now, they'll induce you if you're over, I want to say like 41 or 42 weeks.
Okay. Having not been pregnant, I wouldn't.
I learned yesterday, in the stream that I did, that first of all, animals don't experience any pain in childbirth, which was interesting to learn. Yes, and then also, the reason why humans have large heads,
Oh God.
relative to their body size, is because of the curse of Eve. It's connected directly to knowledge.
You
The
know what?
eating
So if Eve
Since I
had,
have a large audience now, I've got to get this intervention. Kip, you watch way too much Falk.
bullshit. That wasn't actually okay. To be fair, that wasn't him. Although it sure sounds like him, doesn't it?
Mhm. So wait, does this mean that if Adam and Eve hadn't sinned, then humans would
They
be
had
born with tiny heads? Yeah, like
yes, I think.
so, like the Goombas from the Mario Brothers movie, the original one.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Okay.
I'm picturing. Did you guys ever see? Because I'm an old guy. Did you guys ever see Beetlejuice? See,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
picturing.
Okay, the shrunken head guy.
in
Yeah.
the waiting room. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. See,
Okay.
that's. I think that's what the guy's name is. Redeem Zoomer. I think that's what he must think.
Okay.
The first humans, the ideal humans, look like. You know. In
Why
the garden.
not just go with Eve would have had really wide hips? Why not go
Well,
that
that's
route?
another way you could go, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But he chose. Well, the reason why is because the knowledge, right?
Okay.
You need a big head.
Oh,
for knowledge, and
otherwise
she
you couldn't
acquired
fit
the
the-
knowledge.
So wait, did Eve's head
In the
grow
garden.
when she ate the fruit?
I don't. I think it must.
Okay.
It's
It grew to fit all that knowledge inside?
yes, but
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Well,
That's
is that as dumb or maybe dumber than Billy's bullshit? I leave it to you.
I'd say it's at least as dumb.
At least as them. I mean,
Yeah,
'cause,
Okay.
again, being the Billy guru of the group,
Yes.
it's not like he if that were like if whoever that person is just like threw those cards on the table, I think Billy would not fold.
Okay.
Mm.
You think he wouldn't? Yeah, he wouldn't probably buy that. Okay.
No, I think he lay his cards out too and be like, oh yeah, well, I'll take your small head humans and raise you. You know,
Ancient alien clones.
Yeah, my
Okay.
ancient alien cloning machine.
Yeah, in South Africa, because that's down.
Kip, were you here when Billy was talking about like how the something hit the earth? Oh, Tiamat hit the earth, and half of it is the earth that we stand on now, and the other
That
half
was
of it is the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which would mean that the
I remember
entire
that.
Milky Way, less the solar system, has the same mass. I can't talk, as the Earth.
Yes.
Which-
yes,
Sure.
that is what that would mean.
Mhm. Which,
Would mean we're standing in a black hole. Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
the rest of the
I
Milky Way
ask
weighs
you-
almost nothing.
And I ask you, is that equal to or dumber than small-headed humans?
I'd say that's dumber.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Billy. He can out-stupid you.
Super chat. Tad Schiff for $5 says, every point you give to Billy Carson, I take away from you, Kip. AIG something something penis. Sorry, we'll take a drink for something something penis.
I'm getting points.
Yeah, but they don't matter. Just like in Whose Line Is It Anyway?
You know, as soon as you turn this into something competitive, that just changes the game for me here.
You know what? Here's what we'll do next
Bingo,
time.
trivia, it doesn't matter.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Actually, I'm going to open up Notepad. Right. All right. Here's what you guys can do.
Okay.
You can super chat points. Right.
Because there haven't been many.
Every
Give
dollar
me
worth
points.
of super chats, you can assign
thank
those
you.
as points to someone. So if you want to send a $5 super chat and say that they're for Kip, I'll add 5 points for Kip. We'll see who gets more points, Kip or Maya.
God, I'm so losing this game.
That'll
Now
be,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, you're Canadian, so that's
And I
assumed.
I mean that in the genuine way, not the Canadian way.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All right,
pretty sure the Canadian I'm sorry is a GFUY, but
I don't think it always is. Sometimes.
That's what it was. So this is why they did it this way. And so, ISIS becomes the generations of ISIS. That's Adam. That's where you get Genesis, Genesis.
oh God.
Dr. Kip Davis, as a professional Hebraist,
Yes.
could you explain to us how the name of the first book of the Torah became Genesis in English, and whether or not it is a portmanteau of generations and ISIS?
Sure.
Okay.
And the answer to the second question is no.
Okay.
Hell no. And because I'm looking at the super chat goal, I'm going to restrain myself from saying the other thing. But so the Hebrew names of all the biblical books traditionally is just the first word of the book.
Right.
The first word of the book of Genesis is Bereshit, which means something like when in the beginning, or in the beginning when began, something like that, right? And that is the name of the first book. And we know this. The reason why we know this is because this is cool. We actually have a copy of the book of Genesis from the Dead Sea Scrolls, where on the verso side of the manuscript where you don't write, there's actually a title right there.
We get a title
it says
page.
Bereshit. It's right there. We've got one. So yeah, this is God damn it.
So how do we get from
its Tad? So
Bereshit to...
sorry, I got distracted by the chat. And this is going exactly as I thought it would. But anyways, so this is in the Greek translation of the Hebrew text, not the Greek original, the Greek translation of the Hebrew
in the
text.
Septuagint.
In the Septuagint, it translated this as, now goddamn, I don't even know what, but it's I have to look this up because I pay no attention at all to the Greek names of biblical books. But it through the Greek, basically through the Greek and then into the Latin, you eventually end up with Genesis, because these are just translations of what the first book of the Bible was, and they didn't even always follow the Hebrew convention of naming the book after the.
They don't in Genesis.
The first word. No.
Genesis starts
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
To uranon kai tin rin.
Exactly. So, so yeah, you just and I'll point this out. ISIS isn't in Genesis.
Nor is she a Greek goddess for that matter.
No.
So like none of this makes sense. So
none.
Generations itself is actually etymologically related to the word Genesis because they both come from a Greek term like geneo, which basically is like I reproduce something, like I have the child something, right? Okay. It is about the start of things, but it's to a Greek word that doesn't mean generations, and the Genesis is just a version of that root word in Greek. And now we're using it as as a noun, which means like the beginning. It has literally nothing to do with the goddess Isis. It's just a Greek word that is based on the title from Hebrew. That's it. That's all that's happening. Tatcha for $2 says -2 points for Dr. Kill, plus 2 points for Maya. So right now, Kip has -2 points and Maya has 2 points.
I don't even have that's not even zero. That's it's not even 0 points. That's like -2 points.
Yes, that's why I said -2.
God damn it. Yes, thank you.
Kip, remember, is more of a philologist than a mathematician. At least you don't have imaginary points. That would be orthogonal to real points.
Yes. I do in my brain though.
Imagine if we had to create a complex point system where everybody's points was some combination of real and imaginary points, and then we had to figure out your distance from the center of like the origin of the complex number plane.
Better. Maybe we can
you want us to do 2D vector math on the complex number plane?
Like... No, he does not want that.
No.
Tell you what, Kip, if people give you imaginary points, you can be in charge of the vector math. How about that? We'll see. We'll see how Kip can do with vector math.
I mean, just so long as my.
Do you know how to do dot products?
Vector math? No, not at all. No, I don't know the first goddamn thing about vector math. So it will look like however benefits me.
Oh,
we should all accept this.
All right. Before we get too far into the complex number plane, I'm going to hit play.
Okay.
Yes.
Book of Genesis is what you're looking at in the Bible.
Dutch Tunicate Official for $2 also says,
God damn it, you guys!
-2 points for Kip.
I love it.
And 2 real points for Dapper. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So right now,
you guys are not. Listen, I would also like to point out for all of these $2 super chats, you are not at all helping. I mean, I'm about to explode on the F-bomb scale, and this is not helping. This is not helping at all. Not at all.
They just want you to owe me $10 super chats.
I mean, we know what's going to happen.
You're going to owe me
those, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the generations of ISIS. If you look in Genesis 4, I'm going to show you how there were people already on this planet.
Okay, wait, what does Genesis 4 have to do with the ancient aliens? This is the Cain and Abel story. What does that have to do with the ancient aliens? I know what this is. Here's my prediction, right?
Oh, I get it. Yes, me too.
He thinks that the Adamu is Adam, and there is a connection there in terms of first human, ancient Near East stories, whatnot. Okay, cool. And so he's going to say that because Cain both finds a wife and is worried about other people recognizing him as a murderer and killing him, that these are the people from before Isis gave birth to the Adamu, who are the clone people. And he's worried about the clone people recognizing him as a murderer. And he's going to get a clone wife who can't reproduce, which is weird. So I don't know how Cain is then going to have kids, because apparently the clones can't reproduce, or maybe they just can't reproduce with each other, but they can reproduce with the descendants of Adam. Maybe that's the case. I don't really know how it works.
Maybe they become the Nephilim.
Oh, the clones plus Cain become the Nephilim.
Plus Cain become the.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
sure.
know.
And then
guys.
eventually
Yeah,
Grendel
so-
from Beowulf.
Hey, Dr. Hip, what's the scholarly consensus on the people from the land of Nod? Because I know evangelicals
threw
just
me
kind
with
of
that
hand
one.
wave it. Okay, the Bible doesn't know what it's talking about here.
No, no one who found. Okay, right. Okay, what? So that is I don't even know what the scholar. So the scholarly consensus on all of this stuff is that it's basically bullshit, right?
Well,
Sure.
yeah.
That these are myths.
Mhm.
And I gotta go back and look and see exactly what they say of the land of Nod. But the fact that it's east of Eden
Yeah.
basically means that this is like fantasy land out here. out in the place where, because traditionally and in scholarly vernacular, Eden is in the Mesopotamian region somewhere, but also inaccessible. It's like this place that was to the far east that it's just you can't really get there anymore. So Nod's like even further than that. It's
Yeah. My understanding is that, and I'm far from an expert, but I'm getting this from having looked into what experts have said about this, is that Genesis 4 is from a different literary stratum than Genesis 2 and 3, that assumes that Adam and Eve are actually not the first people, and that there are just other people who just live there, and that maybe Adam and Eve are the first people to have some kind of covenant relationship with the God that is, the God of the Hebrews, or something like that, but that they're not literally the first people ever, which Genesis 2 and 3 does seem to assume, which might mean that it might be from like a different time, or certainly a different author or something like that. And so that seems pretty plausible to me. We got a few super chats here. Tasha says, fine, giving money to Kip Unleashed. 2 imaginary points for everyone but Kip. Enjoy your orthogonal points, chat, with 3 Mothras, so we'll take a drink. Thank you very much.
I really like your chat, Dapper. They're really cool.
They really are.
I used to really like your chat.
I'm
kidding, chat. I love you.
Let's see. Claude Simeon for $5 says, can I be an honorary Canadian if I say sorry for no reason? Also, 5 pity points to Kip. If I knew how, I would super chat in Canadian dollars, yes, but I'm stuck in US dollars. Okay. Sorry, I thought South Carolina. I was like, I don't know how to interpret that. Which actually, Kip, that means that right now you have 3 times 2 I points, and both Maya and I have 2 times 2 I points. So, if we're going with distance from the center, you're actually winning on this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So long as I'm winning at something. That's seriously all I care about.
Okay.
You can win it, lose it, and somebody has to be last.
It's true. Although it was amusing when I think it was Rob Carter couldn't win the loser competition like 3 years in a row or something. I was like, oh, come on, man.
God.
Josh McGee's for $5 says, for the unleashing and the psychic damage. And then Misinterpretations for $1.99 says, I'm buying absolute value symbols for Kip. Well, unfortunately, the previous 5 pity points actually made that not matter anymore. So, because I don't know. I appreciate the attempt to buy the absolute value symbols, though, because this is getting deeply nerdy, and I love that. Absolute value signs. That is amazing.
I haven't seen those since high school. Oh my God.
Oh, I used them earlier today.
I believe that.
Yep. I had to I had a number value that was going from like positive 10 to negative 10, and I needed to go from 0 to 10, but in both directions. And so I just slapped an absolute value on there, and suddenly, instead of being a line, it was a little V shape. Hooray!
I'm very happy for you.
I'm just going to say that I failed grade 12 math the first time I took it.
Ooh, Kip. Do you know what absolute value signs are?
No, I do.
They just tell you your distance from 0. So
Yeah.
negative numbers
Okay.
become positive numbers when you put absolute value signs on there.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Actually,
It would have been good had you not already gone into positive values.
apparently that has been corrected.
Oh, undoing
This did not.
misinterpretations absolute value, minus 5 I points to Kip. All right, so that puts Kip at minus 3 times minus 7 I points right now. All right.
I can't get upset because Meat Permits Tad usually
my
throws a lot of
God.
money at me in my streams.
I am loving
too.
this.
So,
It's
thank you.
goddamn shade for me. I'm eating it up.
All right, here we go.
Genesis 4. The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me." He's talking to Cain, right?
Okay, but also, Billy, don't you think that this guy is like the Lord here is the most evil character ever? You said that earlier, that our most evil character ever, who I think you said was Enki, is also the god of the Bible. So, are we continuing with this? Is that still the theme here?
Because Cain killed Abel in the Garden of Eden.
No, Billy, it was after the Garden of Eden. This is after the expulsion. Have you read Genesis 3, Billy? I'm taking a drink for This Is in the Garden of Eden, Genesis 4.
There's a Indigada Davida. Sorry. Yeah, there is at this point in the narrative, there is 2 cherubim at the entrance of the Garden of the Eden, and the translation of this is difficult, but it seems like a darting, whirling, like a schizophrenic, flaming sword there as well.
Now, are they cyber cherubim
plausible.
or just regular cherubim?
Right. I guess you would have to ask Billy this
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Because it's honestly, this is if we're following the narrative, it's the first appearance.
Oh, probably just regular
of
ones
cherubim
then.
in them. So probably just the regular ones. I guess before but are there regular cherubim and cyber cherubim?
Yes.
I mean,
Billy's
not in the
work?
setting where
Yes.
cyber cherubim come from, but
Okay.
this is also the Bible, not Warhammer.
Yes.
So,
Fair.
George McMarion Yule Snoozer Wilf, who's been a member for 11 months, says, I thought it couldn't get more embarrassing than Billy, but then Kip revealed his poor math skills.
Oh God, shut up.
Wow.
Come on.
Oh, here. George.
Kip,
Here.
look, Kip, one of these days we're just going to familiarize you with n-dimensional manifolds, and it's going to be great. Why not have an arbitrary number of orthogonal degrees of freedom that you can have in anything? Oh, he went off camera.
Sorry.
He threw
I'm
out
ready to
Canadian
cry.
Oh, guys. I mean, technically, I did say that we could measure who won by distance from the center, and right now you have that one by a mile.
But now that just makes me feel bad.
Because you don't understand how that works?
Yes.
All right. That's fair.
Look, Kip, you're bringing me, Dapper, in the chat so much joy right now.
It's true.
Take solace in that.
I have 3 grown children, so I understand how being the butt of every joke is really just a way of showing how much people do appreciate you.
It's
so,
true.
I'm
literally
resting
true.
on that.
Okay.
So
Joshua Geese for $5 says, nope, just regular type. Read in TGS voice from the brothers chat. Oh, I'm not sure I know how to do that one. Does anyone can someone help? I don't know what voice to use for that. I don't know how to imitate that.
TGS voice.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Joshua Geese.
Sorry.
Sapphire Light, who's been a member for 38 months, says, Kip received 1 point for each month I've been a member, divided by the number of books he's written. Okay.
Oh,
so how many
we
books
can
have you
do that.
written?
I can 4.
4? All right. That's pretty good. Wait,
Yeah.
these imaginary or regular? Well, they didn't say they were imaginary.
Wait, no. Everyone knows that Dr. Kip Davis has written no books.
I have heard that. All right, but that means that Kip now
you can choose to believe the lies, or you can look. I'm just about that. You can fucking Google this.
Look, I have no link to press to verify this
can.
information. All right.
All right, I'm going to believe Kip right now because I can't divide by 0. So, given that I physically can't do that, Kip currently has 12.5 times 7i and is winning by a lot right now among all of us. So, let's see. Left-handed Jedi, who's been a member for 20 months, says, "Afternoon, Padawans. Afternoon, left-handed Jedi." And then Carnival Frog for $5 says, "Since we are in the complex plane, can we plot Billy's fractal stupidity? Is it similarly dumb at all scales? Unleash the Kip." I am going to say that yes, Billy's stupidity is scale invariant, for those of you who know what scale invariance is. Which I'm sure does not include Kip.
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
If I knew there was going to be this much math involved today, I might not have shown up. But here I am.
Fair, I didn't expect for there to be this much math. I didn't expect us to get into the complex number plane. This is the first time this has ever happened.
How did this happen?
I mentioned offhand imaginary points. That's it.
You walked into the nerdiest chat on the internet and said you didn't understand basic math. And
so I should have just lied, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
yeah. You should have just started talking about like, well, but how many points do I have if we convert this to Riemann spaces? And then everyone would have been like, I don't know. And you could just bullshitted that. Thatcher for $5 says, "All my cyber skulls and my sisters of war," you mean sisters of battle, "are directed at Dapper. Join my crusade, Kip. AIG is a bag of ween albums. 5 orthogonal points for Kip." I'm going to say that that's 5 imaginary points, which means that now you've drawn closer to the center, because now you're only at 12.5 times 2i. So that was actually a reduction in your distance from the center. So, tough luck on that one. But we will take a drink for it. All right, here we go.
"Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield crops for you. You will be rested."
Cain was gifted with the blackest of thumbs.
I don't know what to do with that.
It's right there. Cain can't grow plants anymore. He now just sucks at growing plants. He had a green thumb, not anymore. That's what you get for bringing the Lord stupid fruit and vegetables instead of meat.
Right?
God wants meat. He wants a burger, not a salad, Cain.
It's because of I learned, and this is something else I learned yesterday. It's because of DNA, y'all. The blood.
Right. Yeah, the blood. It has the DNA,
That's
right.
it.
Yeah, plants don't have
DNA,
DNA, so don't worry about it. Plants no DNA.
Specifically, God's got a thing for animal DNA, apparently.
Yeah, well,
big on that animal DNA.
The only DNA I've actually directly observed myself was plant DNA. Like with my own eyes, was plant DNA. Yep. It turns out that when you're doing simple chemical experiments to isolate DNA, you can do it with meat, or you could just do it with like a strawberry, and that's cheaper and easier and less gross.
Fair.
So yeah, but it just comes out as a big bunch of grayish like goop. It's not much to look at. Yeah, it's like bulk DNA. It doesn't look like anything interesting. It's just a gray pile of goo. I'm like, oh, cool. That's DNA, I guess. What do you now? What? It's like nothing. Toss it down the sink. It was a take-home lab from one of my biology classes in college. They were like, do this procedure and you'll get gray goop. Then you have to check off this box saying that you did it. So I didn't actually have to do it. I could have just checked off the box, but it sounded fun. And it turns out that like I wasn't living at home during that college period, but like I was in the same town as my parents, and they had a blender and I didn't. So I just did it in their kitchen. And they were like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you putting like dish soap into the blender? I was like, don't worry about it. I'm looking for DNA, guys. What is happening?
Was that like a second or third year?
It was like
bio
biology.
class?
It was biology for non STEM majors, so it wasn't even. It was just one of the science classes.
So
I
it
had
was
to
like
take.
an intro.
Oh yeah,
class to
it was the
Really? 'Cause
easiest
I didn't-
biology
I
class
didn't-
I've ever taken. I
Wow,
didn't
I
show
think
up
the
for.
easiest biology.
I showed
get
up
to do that.
for the
Yeah.
first lecture, and the professor said, "I'm not taking attendance."
And you
And then,
left.
and I left, and I never came back, and
Yeah.
I aced the class, and
Wow.
that was that.
But you know what?
It was just a rehash of high school biology.
As a former college instructor, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I never took attendance in my classes. But then again, my you know, the examination material was always very lecture heavy.
Yeah.
Very lecture heavy. So
Well, to be fair, he did warn people that on average, people who don't show up to the lectures don't do as well as people who do.
yeah.
So, you know.
See, I was that's better because I wouldn't give that warning.
Well,
Because
that's fair.
dick.
I actually do.
No, I mean, I come from that school of thought where it, you know, it was weird where it was just understood that if you wanted to pass the class, you would show up.
Yeah.
But apparently by the time my daughter went to college, they were taking attendance and it was like its own grade.
Yeah, I
Like,
hate
this
that.
is
Oh my
insane to
God.
me. They're adults.
Yes.
Yeah, there are adults who
It's-
are paying to go to this class if they want to waste their money.
Right.
Yes. But here's the thing is the guys who, because I think I used to work when I was a PhD student. I used to work for an in-house Christian apologist at the Christian university where I was also working. And yeah, it was weird. But he did this. He had these gigantic classes. Like his intro class had 430 students or something ridiculous like this, right?
You can't even take attendance for that, can you?
Oh my God. This he would take it personally.
Oh my God, that was such a waste of time.
Yes, but that's a lot of what I did. Lucky me. Was go through the attendance lists and make sure because everybody had to
off every name.
Sign it at the door, lock the doors after everyone's in. Yeah, right. It's just
Nice.
seriously, get over yourself.
All right, we have a few
Sorry.
super chats here. So Metageek Platypus Librarian for $5 says, I purchased Terrence Howard introduces his math genius, and we all lose our sanity. Rocks fall, everyone on the lives. Save Mothra. I'll take a drink. Thank you very much. Jeez. Every once in a while I think maybe I should cover some of teriology. And I realize, what am I going to say about this other than, like, this is nothing. This doesn't make any sense at all. He hasn't defined anything. He doesn't have, like, a self-consistent mathematical system. Like, he has nothing. And what am I going to do? Say that over and over?
It really, you know, I've only done teriology once. He talks a lot. There's a lot of videos on him. But yeah, it's just, I feel like if you've covered him once, you've covered him.
Yeah, what else is there to say? One times one
it
doesn't
was
equal
funny
two.
because I had Eric from Skeptics and Scoundrels on, and at the end, he was just like, Uncle.
Yeah.
It is bad.
My favorite thing is, like, what if I just named the the Boolean intersections of different circles and I gave them cool names, and then I just said that's the shape of electricity? Like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. You just named the Boolean intersection of some spheres. You've given it a name, cool, and then you just said it's the shape of the electron, which doesn't mean anything. What? Great. Next time it'll be the shape of, like, puppy dogs or, like, the shape of love or something. Like, who cares? You're just saying words that don't mean anything together.
Yeah, like 1 × 1 = 2.
Yeah. Which is
words that don't mean anything.
I mean, actually, those do mean something. It's just nothing good.
No, not when you put them together like that.
Yeah. The Screen Geek says, how many seconds of Billy are we in? Like 15? That's okay. Actually, that's a good question. So let's see. We are. I have it. We are not quite 15 seconds in.
Oh wow, this is worse than.
Uh,
I thought I was the worst.
It's
Wow.
okay. You know what?
Videos.
It's okay. Everyone's having fun.
Oh,
Tatcha for
great.
$5 says, I roll a natural 20 to counter metageeky platypus warlocks have no power here. 5 times 5 eye points to whoever. Okay, well, here's what that means.
Ooh.
I am going to grab a 6-sided die here, and we're going to go. Yes, I have those in arm's reach.
Within arms. It's like,
I stream TTRPGs to my other channel. You think I don't have dice at my desk? Come on.
you
All right.
probably have multiple dice, don't you? You have a D20 over there too.
Within my eye line, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 D20s.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I don't even have to look for more.
Amazing.
I'm going to be 1 and 2. Dr. Kip is going to be 3 and 4, and Maya is 5 and 6. All right, that's a 6. So that means Maya gets 5 times 5 eye points. All right. Oh wait, no, that's me.
I hope that's bad.
No, that's good. That puts her in second place. Actually, I would have to double check the math on that because with the
Yes, I forgot what Dapper has.
I have 2 times 2 eye. That makes Maya have 7 times 7 eye, which might actually put her further from the origin than Kip, but I'm not positive. I would actually have to do the vector math on that one.
I don't know. Kip's pretty far out.
Well, we'll do the vector math. Don't worry. In fact, maybe I'll switch to like screen capture, and I'll pull up Blender, and we can check in Blender just for funsies.
I love how geeky you are. I gotta tell you.
I appreciate it.
No, because we were watching Apologia last night, and he was like, "Well, we could do trivia, but we're not going to do points." And I'm like, "Well, why would we do anything if they're not going to be
Right?
points? If I
Yes.
teach you math and graphs, it's not fun to me."
Yeah. Actually, in
And I
in my stats
made it-
class,
I
I
was going to
did
say
use
it-
Blender for my stats visualizations.
I love it.
Yeah, they're like, "Why is this
It
all
made
like
it
a
much-
3D
it-
graph?" I was like, "It's fun."
it made it much easier for me to cheat on the 6 trivia questions
Hmm.
in Apologia Live last night. But I'll be honest, the joy was not there.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna
It
hit
was
play
hollow.
on this.
Listen,
Like
the
a second
wanderer on
Bob Goat verb. Sorry.
earth. Okay? Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is more than I can bear. Now, the Lord in this Genesis is actually Enlil.
Enlil.
Oh,
Oh,
Enlil. Oh, right, Enlil. Not Enki.
The bad one.
Sorry. Yeah, the bad one. Yeah.
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 Enlil, the same one that wanted to go ahead and go to war against his own people because they were complaining about the workload.
And I want to know
'Cause
where Billy draws that
where is
connection. Like, yeah, is there anything in the Epic of Atrahasis that says that the Lord here, which is translating Yahweh, is Enlil? Is there any like linguistic connection between the Tetragrammaton and Enlil? No. It doesn't even sound the same. This is worse than when like Bodhi Hodge was like, hey, some river in India sounds like the name of a Bible character. It's probably because those people were descended from that Bible character. Like, yeah, Billy or Bodhi, sure, maybe that's why. This is worse than that. There isn't even just some sound similarity between Enlil and the Tetragrammaton. The Screen Geek for €5 says, I effing love this community. Laugh. Here's another chat for Kip. Also, let's get some more Billy, and I am so sick of DJ Quicko super chats.
right? Thank you. Oh my god.
And then there's an
It's
AIG
been on
is a
the
bag of
screen
dicks.
for days.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. I don't get it.
Is he going to do something about that?
Probably not.
What? Oh,
But here's a drink.
That was just the beginning of showcasing how evil this dude was. Much later in the text, he's killing humans because they're talking too much and all kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah, later in the Epic of Atrahasis, but a different
This
reason is
guy.
given for the flood in Genesis, Billy.
yes.
In fact, the Genesis
Lovely.
flood myth is largely a reaction to flood myths that are more closely connected to the Epic of Atrahasis, which is why there's a different reason. Because the reason given in Genesis is supposed to seem more reasonable, because look how much better our God is than those silly gods who killed everyone because they had a bad night of sleep.
just for making it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Our God did it because everyone was so wicked that everything they did was wicked. They went curtain shopping wickedly. They took wicked cat naps. They did everything wickedly. When
They did
moms
vector
were
math
breastfeeding
very
their
quickly.
babies, they were doing it wickedly. I don't know what that means, but they were doing it. And those babies, you better bet that they were eating wickedly
Oh
when they
yeah,
were being breastfed. Everything was wicked.
everything.
Anyway, so Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. Well, he obviously knows about death, number one. So a lot of people...
Yeah, that was something that was apparent earlier in the
This
text,
is-
Billy. Like, that's...
Yes.
Have you read... Okay,
Within the
taking-
internal
I'm taking a
narrative
drink.
of the text, death is a thing. Now,
It's like Billy hasn't read Genesis 2 and 3, and he's just jumping into 4, and the only context he has is that Cain and Abel were both the sons of Adam and Eve, and then previously his own imaginations about the Epic of Afrocentrism. That is the only context for this. Instead of, the actual context, which is the previous chapters of Genesis.
is this a normal thing, Maya, where Billy just forgets what he said
So
37 seconds ago?
okay. Billy is a grifter. Grifters are opportunists. Opportunists say whatever sounds good at the moment. And so, yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Tantra for $2 says minus 1.5 I points for Dapper and 0.251 points to Kip and Maya. Okay, that's great.
What? Oh,
0.251 points for
Do we
Maya.
each get 0.251 points, or do we have to split them?
You each,
Just
I'm saying you each get it.
Does the math get worse?
All right, so now the scores are 12.751 times 2i for Kip, 7.251 times 7i for Maya, and then 2 times 0.5i for me. Which means I am definitely losing if we're doing distance from center.
So long as you're losing.
Yeah,
That makes me happy.
obviously. But you know what? I'm also winning because these are super chats that go to my channel. So,
Right, yeah. So
Just not
It's-
DJ Quico's. God damn
Yeah.
it.
DJ, come give a 1999 super chat to me. I'll be much more love and care for humanity because I'm not trying to mislead them about everything.
just saying.
Just put a shirt on.
Yeah. You know what, DJ? You don't have to put a shirt on to super chat here if you don't want to. I am someone who is comfortable about the existence of human anatomy and human bodies. It's fine. Yep. I mean, I still have to follow the YouTube guidelines and everything, but like, I am not living in a fantasy world where I pretend that humans don't have bodies and that those bodies don't have anatomy. I get
It
it.
says the CGI dinosaur on the screen.
Yeah, who also has a body with anatomy.
Been teaching for all these years in the Bible study and all this. The first recorded death in history is when Cain killed his brother. Fake news. Sorry, fake news.
Okay, so
What?
he doesn't believe the literal narrative of the text, but also is using it to emphasize the historicity of his ideas, which would mean that he would have to accept the literal historicity of the text.
Oh my gosh. I don't
Really?
even know how to make this make sense.
Is this text reliable or not? What are you doing?
So he's he's reading this like it's a subverted narrative, right? Because Enlil's actually the bad guy.
I mean, to be
But
fair,
he's-
God is basically the bad guy in a lot of Genesis anyway.
Sure, but I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. I'm aware of that. But I think he's like this is a subverted form of the original story, which is trying to cover for Enlil's badness. So you can pick and choose the things that align with your idea of what's actually going on, and then just call everything else fake news.
So
I
he's
think
just openly cherry picking.
Yes.
Okay.
and calling and then pretending that those things align with some sort of ancient propaganda.
I mean, they align with some modern propaganda. I'll give them that. Billy.
No.
Oh, wait. Peggy J's 36 for $5 says, I can't tell if scoring system is more or less confusing than that of Calvin Ball. So it's both, right? Because here's the easy thing about Calvin Ball is that the scoring system is that Calvin wins, right? It doesn't really matter what else happens. But it's also more complex in that you actually have to think about the scoring system. Like right now, if you wanted to make, say, Maya take over Kip, you have to think, would it be more effective to add to her real score of 7.251 or to the imaginary score of 7? Because while Kip has much more real points, Maya has far more in absolute value of imaginary points. But on the other hand, if you gave Kip enough points, then they were imaginary, then he would certainly overtake both me and Maya. And so let's, you got to keep doing the vector math in your head. It's not easy. Not easy.
But it's fun.
That's true. Let's see. Tatcha for $2 says -2 points for Becca J 36. All right, here we go. Becca J 36 now has -2 times 0i points.
Oh, God.
All right, which is an easy one because that means distance from the center 2. That is it. 2. Yep. All right. So
they didn't even read the book. Did they read this book? Did they even read this book?
Are you reading this book, Billy?
Oh my goodness!
Wife of the gods.
Kip, you surprised me, and I hit a button because I was surprised. Blame you for this.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
In the Bible study and all this, the first recorded death in history is when Cain killed his brother. Fake news. Sorry, fake news. No.
Okay.
They didn't even read the Bible. Did they read this book? Did they even read this book? Cain says right here, the people out there are going to kill me. So,
Billy, they did read this. The first human death recorded in the Bible is that of Abel. You can say maybe there were other deaths beforehand, but you can't get it out of Genesis. You have to make assumptions that you're bringing into the text. So yeah, they did read the book, Billy. Unlike you, who clearly haven't. Or, if you have, you're just lying about it. So I don't know which one it is, Billy. Please feel free to, show up in chat someday and let me know whether or not you're lying or you haven't read this. Triceratops, who's been a member for 17 months, says, "You're all ridiculous, and I love you dearly," with Mothra. Thank you very much, and we will drink for Mothra. Dutch Tunicate Official for $5 says, minus the sum of the area between x equals 4 and x equals 10 of y equals x squared to all... No, I'm sorry. I'm not doing that in my head, and this has to be stuff that I'm doing in my head. I'm sorry, Dutch Tunicate Official. I am not going to find the area under a curve to add points. Don't get me wrong. I would love to, if I had actual stuff handy to do that, but I don't. This has
I'm
to be...
supposed to tell you, Dapper, that you're doing your order of operations wrong.
Yeah, I don't care. I know I am. I know. I know that I can't just subtract and add these values like I am. I'm just doing it anyway because that makes it simpler. So if you pay for points on either real or imaginary axis, I am just adding those onto that axis. I am treating this as if I am adding not with an order of operations, with a a little 2-factor number here. What I'm actually doing is doing a vector math operation, and if you tell me to add 2 points, that just means I'm adding 2 on that one axis, right? It's like if you're doing the vector math add function, where you just add each axis independently. Yep. So we're not treating these as arithmetic formulae. So take that.
So it's kind of like Calvin Ball.
No, because what I'm doing is, in fact, a real mathematical operation that is actually done on real vectors. I do it all the time. I add vectors together all the time.
Fair enough.
I also multiply vectors sometimes. Sapphire Light for $2 says, Maya, Kip, and Dapper each receive minus I 1d6 points. Oh, okay. All right. We're going to roll this separately. Here we go. Kip receives minus 4 I. All right. So that's, you're at 12.751 minus 6 times minus 6i. Maya, you're getting minus 6, which brings you down to
Holy cow.
7.215 times
How do you
1i.
keep getting these 6s?
It's 1 in 6 rolls on a d6 is going to be a 6, and it's happened twice out of like 4 rolls. That's not unusual.
Okay, fine.
And then I get minus 3, which puts me down to, let's see, 2 times minus 3.5i. All right. And then Tansha for $2 says, Dapper math is legal. Plus 2i for Kip, sadly, which puts Kip at, let's see, I'm going to actually math it correctly. 12.751 times 4i points. All right.
If I didn't know how much he loved math, I'd wonder about those rules.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like I have a professional relationship with math. Like, I don't go sit around doing math for funsies, but when I need math, it's right there for me, and we have a working relationship.
No, I actually do believe you, because like I feel like you're like just so committed to math that you wouldn't intentionally mess this up. It's like, no, I have to know.
Oh,
with
yeah, no.
accuracy
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. I mean, look, that part of that professional relationship is a deep respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to hang out with, like, for beers or something with math. Like, we're not going to go hang out at the bar after work. But while we're at work, you know, we have a healthy respect for each other.
I'm barely even responding to Matt's emails.
Yeah, I can tell.
So Cain, this is what they teach you in Bible study. You had Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. All right?
Oh.
That's 4 people.
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, we find out that there's people on the planet, and Cain knows about them, and he knows that they have the ability to kill people, too.
I feel like Billy has never been to a Bible study with me.
Where is he getting this from? Why is he assuming this?
I mean, he's getting
it
the
wasn't
other...
even spent in the world, according to the text, before, you know.
Well, before
Eve,
the fall in Genesis 3. But
right.
This is after that.
So, exactly. So, in the universe, like, it's totally plausible.
He knows that they can kill. He knows about murder. He knows about it.
Of course he knows
He
about
just
murder.
committed
he just killed someone.
one.
Yeah, jeez, Billy. I'm taking a drink. Man, can
He
you believe that this
invented
murderer
it.
knows about murder? Yeah, I can, Billy. Billy, you read the part where he murdered Cain, or you read about him killing Cain. You said, your brother's blood cries out to me. What do you think that
Rise
was,
up
Billy?
from the ground.
What do you think it was? The reason? Why do you think the blood was in the ground to cry out, Billy?
It's the
Was it an accident? Was it an oopsie?
It's the blender DNA.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there you go.
Before he killed his brother. Killing his brother wasn't something he just thought of in his brain. He already had experience. He's seen it happening all around him.
Actually, according to the text, it does seem like it was just an idea that came to him because of jealousy.
It does. Like, he, in a fit of rage, he just wanted to beat his brother up, and was like, oh, wait, this can happen? Like, I mean, this actually happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So Trixie says maybe I could just crop out the super chat. Unfortunately, if I crop out the super chat, it crops out Maya.
Oh, no.
So I would rather have Maya and DJ than neither. So
They really hate that picture.
it is. You know,
It's
I'm not
really distracting.
It's an odd choice for your YouTube profile picture. I'll say that it is an odd choice.
It says some things, I think.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know DJ Quicko. Maybe he's a great guy. I don't know.
He might be.
He
looks like
Billy Carson fan, so I doubt it. But
The chat's like, rip Maya. They really don't want to see him anymore. You know what? I will be a disembodied voice if the chat is that adamant about it.
all right, here we go. We'll start a poll. All right. Crop out Maya? That's the poll. That's it. Crop out Maya, question mark. Yes or no?
I'm voting.
All right. You're allowed to. You're allowed to vote twice if you want to.
These are the people out there going to kill me. So there's people already on Earth before Adam and Eve.
Yes, Billy. Genesis is made up of multiple literary strata that do not all align with each other perfectly, or in some cases at all. Right? That's why also Joseph gets sold to two different groups of people before he's sold off into Egypt. That's why there are people in Genesis 4 that aren't related to Adam and Eve necessarily, but there aren't in Genesis 2 and 3. That's why the order of things that are created in Genesis 1 contradicts that from Genesis 2. We get it, Billy. Do you get it, though? Do you understand that this text is not just something that someone sat down and wrote out one day? And that, in fact, has a complex history of, like, being collected, edited, recollected, different authors contributing different parts, different traditions, all within sort of, like, you know, Israelite identity all coming together. Do you get any of this, Billy? Because it seems like you think this is just Enlil's propaganda piece that he went and wrote after someone else wrote the Epic of Atrahasis down. Who that would be, I guess it would have to have been an alien.
A pretty terrible propaganda piece.
Billy's or Genesis?
Billy's.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought Genesis worked pretty well as a propaganda piece.
Oh yes, absolutely. But his view of how this propaganda is working is, I don't know.
Josh,
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
Josh Peace for $5 says, I've just invented something. I think I'll call it murder, and then we'll associate it with a group of crows. Cain, probably.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
No, I'm not concerned. I'm not convinced that Billy understands things.
I'm convinced he doesn't.
Just things.
Just things at random. I am not positive he dresses himself. Just. What I think actually happens is that Billy engages with this chat, kind of understands the gist of what they believe and regurgitates it on stream. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to bring in cash. You know, from highly.
You mean like the score right now?
DJ...
It doesn't have to make sense. It just brings in cash.
Similar.
Okay. Sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to
No. That was my summation. Thank you.
Okay.
But I do love that most of the chat does not want to crop me out. So,
yeah. Well, you know, you're not here every time.
What's the suggestion to crop out Kip?
Well, that would involve me cropping out everyone. So, like, I can only crop along the X or the Y axis, and only from the extreme end. Like, I can't crop into it with an in cut. I don't have that option. So, like, there's no way for me to just crop out Kip. So,
is it because on our screen I'm in the middle? Is that why?
Yeah, basically.
You're Canadian.
It's just a habit.
Well,
that's it.
All right, I'm gonna hit play on this.
Just proved it to you through text.
You proved it through text.
No,
the Lord said to him.
Oh, wait. Drink 4. Mothra. Mothra's here. Thank you very much, Mothra. All right.
Not so. Nah, I ain't gonna let that happen to you, bro. Don't worry, I got you. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over. The Lord put a mark on Cain.
That means that guy's gonna die 7 times.
He just put a genetic mark on him so that no one.
It's a genetic marker.
Genetic marker.
Right. Because all these clone people that already exist are going to be DNA testing everyone they think they might want to murder. That makes sense, Billy. What? Billy, how do you think that would work? Anyone who comes across me is going to kill me. Don't worry, man. I'm going to insert something into your DNA and then I'll tell them not to.
DNA test first.
Right.
And I'll get back to you in a few weeks.
Right.
It's like, oh, Cain.
Or as 10 times 10 months, right?
Right.
I'll get back to you in 100 months.
I just like the idea that like someone's coming up to Cain and like they've got like a club that they're like slapping into their hands repeatedly, like, oh, we're gonna get you. And he's like, wait, hold on. Let me do a blood test first before you bash my skull in with that club. And they're like, okay, fine. Yes. We'll take the blood test. We'll let you do the blood test. And then it comes back and they're like, oh shit, We're not supposed to kill you, huh? On your way. I wonder what it would be like to actually live in the world that Billy thinks is the real world.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Who found him will kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence, and he lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. That's where he began to grow that whole Canaanite civilization.
What? Why do we think this?
Because Cain sounds like Canaanite. That's why.
Oh,
That's it.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Now remind me. Eden is said to be set between the Tigris and the Euphrates, which would make it in like modern Iraq. Now, Canaan, is that west or east of modern Iraq?
That would be west.
West, right? Okay.
Cain is not
right
west.
And also, if I'm remembering correctly, the only reason that Billy thinks these words sound alike is because the English vowels in those words are similar, but that the Hebrew vowels, in fact, are not similar.
And the consonants are also different.
Oh, okay. So so everything's different.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a drink for that one.
So when you get right down to it, the only thing that they have in common is that both have a yod
and a noon,
and both end in a noon. Yeah, that's it.
Wait. Can you for us ancient Hebrew non-readers?
Right. I will type
I just want to hear the words.
I mean, they sound. No, what were you gonna say?
No, what's the name of Cain and the name of Canaanite?
Yeah, pronounce them in Hebrew, Kill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Cain is Cain.
Okay.
And Canaanite is Ka'ani.
Yeah, that's not very similar.
It's not, but importantly, there's two Hebrew, totally different Hebrew letters that make that hard K sound. There's a kof, and there's a it's embarrassing when you forget the kof. It's also called a cough. So they sound similar, but they look totally different.
I also believe that when this was written, kof was a uvular stop instead of an alveolar stop like cough was. If I remember correctly from my historical linguistics with Semitic languages, which I do know a little bit about.
Oh, right, because you're a dapper linguist.
I'm not a linguist. Right. I am a linguistics enthusiast. They are, in fact, different things. But yeah, so one thing that you got to remember is that a lot of these texts are composed at a stage where the Hebrew alphabet actually has different sounds for different letters, whereas modern Hebrew pronunciation likes to combine a lot of them. Although, interestingly enough, Yemeni Hebrew, so Yemeni Jews, retain a much more conservative phonology in their vocalization for Hebrew than most other Jewish populations do. So they keep a lot of distinction between letters that other Jewish populations have dropped. So, like, they still actually pronounce ayin as a voiced pharyngeal fricative, which Arabic also has, which makes sense since they're living in a primarily Arabic-speaking country. But yeah, so that is one thing, is that while in modern Hebrew pronunciations, the kof and kaf are going to be both alveolar stops in... Not alveolar, sorry, velar stops. What am I talking about? They're both going to be velar stops. Anciently, kof would have been a uvular stop, like the Arabic kof, or kaf. Yeah, so there is that. Tasha for $2 says, Dr. Kill, where is Canaan? Is it near Israel? Well,
it's funny, right? So it's Israel is in Canaan. Israel is essentially part of what the Egyptians identified as Canaan. So it's like the whole. And by the way, I typed English equivalents, Latin equivalents in the chat for the way this looks different in Hebrew. You've got Cain for Cain and Ka'ani for Canaanite, and you'll notice too, like the letters aren't even like there's just almost no relationship there at all, like just none.
Yep. Look, it's just like when he said that Genesis is the generations of Isis. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just an
nothing
idiot not understanding the most basic things about languages, except how things kind of sound in English. It's the same as those people who are like, no, see, Jesus was actually originally a solar deity. He wasn't the S-O-N of God. He was the S-U-N of God. And it's like, I'm
I
sorry,
hate
do
them
you
so much.
do you think that homophone works in Greek? Do you think that
Can
Elios and Weos sound the same in Greek? Do you think that that's how that works?
They do.
And yeah,
Because, you know,
that's the thing. Yeah, they
because,
do
you
think that.
know,
can I
the Genesis was written in the American English.
Yeah.
Hey, can I say something fun about the actual name Cain?
No.
Cain.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you can. It's fine.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. So, we're told in the text that Eve gives birth to Cain, and she names him that because she says, "I have kana," which means possibly to create, or it can mean to acquire a man, either with Yahweh or just Yahweh. So the name Cain comes from that verb kana, but there is some speculation with regards to this statement that she makes, because you can interpret it one of two ways. She either says, most English translations, or all English translations, will say, "I have acquired a man with the help of Yahweh," is how they translate it. But because of the way that Hebrew works, an alternative translation to that is, "I have created a man, comma, Yahweh," as if this is the deity itself. So it's pretty spicy. It's kind of wild.
My
There's
interpretation
actually
is
a
going to be that Eve was just cheating on Adam with God.
well, listen. There is actually, I'm happy you mentioned that, Dapper, because there is actually a Targum, which is an Aramaic translation of the Hebrew text, which says that Eve had sex with Samael, which was a wicked angel of Yahweh, and gave birth to Cain as a result.
Man, Eve, keep it in your pants.
Well, I mean, Adam did get it on with every animal in the garden before he finally asked for Eve.
But to be fair, that wasn't cheating because Eve didn't exist yet to be cheated on.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
Could
Plus,
just ask her first.
no babies. No babies resulted. That we know of, at least, I suppose.
Yeah.
There you go.
Claude Seaman for $5 says, as a prescriptivist, I support die as singular for dice. Some TTRPG DMs use dice as singular because Caesar said the die is cast. Yes, in English, Caesar said the die is cast. That's true. That is what happened. I try to keep die as my consistent singular for dice. I do not always succeed, but I try. I don't remember if I succeeded most recently. But actually, now that I think about it, I think within arm's reach, I have more dice than I actually can count visually. I'm pretty sure, because I got 2 bags full of dice. I'm pretty sure that between the 2 of them and the ones that aren't in the bags that are over here by my other monitor that I was using in yesterday's game, I probably have close to 100 dice.
Jesus. I am quite certain that I mean, I know I have dice in the house somewhere because we have board games because we had kids.
Right.
But my God, I couldn't even tell you where they are. And I guarantee you they're all 6-sided.
Well, that's a problem. You need more dice than that.
I'm pretty sure I have 0 dice in my house.
How do you have, you don't have a copy of Yahtzee or Monopoly or anything?
All your children a long time ago?
I don't know. Like, yeah, I have none. I do have a crap ton of rocks over there from my New Age days. So I have more rocks in the house than I can count. And
okay. But how do you generate random numbers?
Well, you have to bathe them in the light of the sun.
So we have you for.
Oh,
okay. Right. Yeah, that.
Peggy Jace for $5 says, "Do you think hamsters were viable before the fall?" And then Tasha for $2 says, "This is hamster erasure." Kip and Maya, do you know about the hamster?
I don't know.
Okay,
I was just about to ask you. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a math term.
It's not. It's definitely not.
Or
So a
Bible
hamster
term.
is in fact a human hamster hybrid. And these are real things. I don't know that any exist currently. Because the procedure,
like this actually happened.
yes, this is a real thing. So
What?
You say real.
Is that no?
like an actual living cell
lab?
group of cells. Yeah, they were in labs. So what happens is when there was a certain
Isn't that
fertility
illegal?
test. No. There was a certain fertility test for males that was used to see if the problem with fertility was that the male sperm could not actually get through the cell membrane of an ovum. And the thing is, if you want to test that with human ova, you have to harvest human ova, which I don't know if you know this, but harvesting ova from a human is a
easy.
painful and invasive and, yeah, time-consuming and very expensive procedure.
Mhm.
But hamsters, on the other hand, first of all, it's still going to be invasive and painful, but they're hamsters, so no one really cares that much.
No, I learned that animals don't feel pain.
Oh, right, I forgot. But anyway,
Yeah.
so hamster ova were harvested, and then a outer membrane that's around the cell membrane of ova called the zona pellucida was then removed. And the zona pellucida actually contains proteins that check for compatible proteins on the sperm, and then we'll just reject sperm that don't have the compatible proteins, which is a way of keeping fertilization within a relatively tight range. But once you remove those, not only will human sperm fertilize a hamster egg, the hamster egg, the new zygote, will then go on to make several different divisions before it self-terminates, because it does not actually have a compatible genetic code to actually produce a viable embryo beyond a few cell divisions. But in that intervening time, what you have is an actual hybrid between a human and a hamster that is going on and cell and dividing as a normal zygote.
I didn't know that. So I knew about the membrane rejecting, but I didn't know that they removed that. And wow, okay.
Yep. It turns out that the only thing that prevents human sperm normally from fertilizing hamster embryos is the zona pellucida. And if you remove it, yep. And so that was done as a fertility test. So you would have a petri dish, put the hamster over there, put a sample from the person you're testing, and if there is fertilization, then you know that that's not the problem that that person is experiencing with fertility. Now you know to test something else. Which I like to sometimes bring up in the context of, like, well, if they can bring forth and make hybrids, that means they're in the same kind, which means I guess hamsters are in the human kind, which means maybe Noah was a hamster. Just maybe. So
I like it.
yeah. It's weird and kind of gross. And as far as I know, that this test is not really still used very much because there are more effective tests. But yeah.
Actually might go a long way to explaining what's happening in the Genesis Apocryphon, which is a fragmentary text. But we know from it that when Bitanosh, the wife of Lamech, actually gives birth to Noah, Lamech is pretty freaked out and recognizes that this does not look like my baby. So I don't. Maybe it's a hamster.
Yeah. Well, a hamster.
Maybe the hamster.
Although, to be fair, I don't think we have direct evidence that hamster sperm can fertilize a human ovum without the zona pellucida. I don't think that test has ever been performed.
Okay. All right.
So, plus that wouldn't be a hamster. That would be a Hammond. Yeah.
Well, I am thoroughly creeped out. Thank you both.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You come here for Billy Carson nonsense, and then we get into the complex number plane and human rodent hybrids. So,
which is the thing. I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Me too.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. We are getting up to the point where it is about time to close this out.
Oh, I'm just slightly curious. How far did we get?
That is a great question. Let me take a look.
35 seconds is I'm What's the over and under on that chat?
We got about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We sped up a little bit as we went on.
Okay.
So, all right, what I'm going to see if I can't do is share a Blender window into into this here. So I'm going to first.
Are we going to be able to see it?
Well, yeah, if I can share it into here, then yes.
Okay.
I just need to make sure that I get the timestamp right. So it's 41:11. All right, 41:11. Okay, so I'm going to remove Billy here. I'm going to remove him from the studio, and I'm going to try to share something else. Share an application window. Here we go. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I have Blender, and I have an X and Y axis here. We're going to use X as the real number axis, and we're going to use Y as the imaginary number axis, right? So what we're going to do is first I'm going to make this this square very small. All right. Then I'm going to say, all right, Kip's points are, let's see, 12.751. 0.751. Oh, is my numlock not working?
Are those my real numbers or my
Yes.
imaginary numbers?
Those are your real.
Okay.
Imaginary is going to go on the y-axis. So that is -4.
So we're okay.
All right, so that's you. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this. And so I have Maya listed next. So that is 7.251 on the real axis. And then 1 on the imaginary axis. All right. And then
we got a Humster chat, -2i for all. Did you see this super chat?
Oh, -2i. All right, fine. I'll make sure that I add in -2 for all. Give me a second. All right. -5 there. That makes you -3 on that axis, Maya, and that makes you -6. So I'll update that. It also means that, let's see, Pegajace ends up at -2i. Pegajace is in here too. So we'll go back to, here is -6. Not 56, just 6. All right. Then Maya is at, you were at 1, so you'd be at -1 now. Isn't really a change. Then me, I'm at 2, and then -5.5. All right. And then Pegajace is going to be at -2, -2. Those are just both going to be -2, -2. Okay. So very clearly, Kip is the winner.
Looks like I win.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
You are by far the farthest from the center. So you have in fact won. If we wanted to find out how far, we could do some vector math, but we could also just do one of these where we just say add in a circle. That's a plane. What's wrong with me? Circle. Here we go. And then we just scale it so that it's has the same diameter as your distance, and then just check. So the distance is 14.136, and then we check for, say, Maya, and we find out that it's 7.346, and then we can check for me and find out that I'm at 6.579. Then we can check for Pegajace, who is at 2.86.
Wow.
So
I
Pegajace is kind of the real winner since he's closest to 0. I'm just saying.
I did say the
Kip's
winner was
kind
the
of
farthest from 0, though.
Farthest from 0. All right. So which sounds way better than Kip being the biggest loser.
Well, all right. Oh, and hey, you know what? As a special thing,
I learned that The Biggest Loser was a very popular television show, and that was the goal.
Here is where I used the absolute number. Is in the shape of this little top-looking thing here.
Does it have anything to do with Inception?
No, does not have anything to do with Inception. But you can see here that I took. It's somewhere in here. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's absolute values. Very handy. All right, everybody. Now that we're all looking at this, you don't have any time. We don't have any time for telling people what's up. I have all my normal shows at all my normal times. Everybody, go subscribe to Kip Davis's channel. Go subscribe to Maya. We also just got 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships from Joshua Geese. So thank you very much. I'm just going to down this drink because that's how many I have.
Here, here.
Did Maya get any time?
What do you mean?
Because she has a show coming up.
No one gets time. I don't even get time.
Oh.
I don't even get time. I have time for one thing, which is we're going to take a look at the ship that I did on my most recent art stream. This is how it's going.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Oh, what won the thing for the next dinosaur?
Feather Dapper. Feather Dapper won.
Feather Dapper. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, thank you very much, everyone. I had fun. No one gets to give you their announcements, but you should subscribe to all of them because they all have stuff coming up. And by all of them, I guess I mean both of them. Grammar is hard. Yeah. Bye. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Ben Tovand, Tapioca Weasel, Arrow Dodger, Dan Sheedy, Elleron Teller, Phil Rivara, Ian Chen, Kelvin Brostock Van Manen, Landon Knoll, Mabbity Babbity, Sphincter of Doom, Wallace, Max Cherry, North Texas Fossils, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 10% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos, often 3 to 5 months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.